All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Definitely. Always up for a good football chat.
Today, we're looking at, I guess the big question hanging over Old Trafford. Can Ruben Amorim really turn things around at Manchester United?
It's a tough one. I mean, especially with, their finances being what they are.
Right, exactly. We've been poring over all these post-match interviews, the pundit analysis, all that, after their recent win against Rangers.
Yeah.
2-1, bit of a nail-biter, eh? Late goal from Fernandes.
It was. Although it's important to remember, Rangers were missing a few of their big names.
True. Makes Amorim's comments after the match even more, interesting, shall we?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to say it could be the worst Manchester United squad he's ever seen.
Bold move.
Bit of a statement.
Yeah.
Coming from a guy who, built a title-winning team at Sporting practically from scratch.
Oh, yeah. Sporting were a mess before he came along.
Total chaos.
And he just, boom, league title. But the thing is, he's all about that team culture, right? Like work ethic, discipline, everyone on the same page.
Totally. If you weren't buying into his vision, you were out. He made some tough calls.
So is he trying to pull the same trick at United, kind of a public wake-up call for the players?
Possibly. But we can't ignore the elephant in the room, those financial issues.
It's weird to think, right? Manchester United, huge global brand, tons of money coming in, but they're reportedly in a tough spot financially.
Yeah, losing money, player payments, outstanding.
Yeah.
They're really struggling with FFP.
FFP, for anyone who's not up on the lingo, that's financial fair play. Basically, a set of rules designed to prevent clubs from, spending money they don't have.
Yep, trying to level the playing field a bit.
And that could really impact their transfers. They might have to sell players just to balance the books. So is Amorim's assessment of the squad, is that partly influenced by this, by knowing he might not have much to work with? Or is he sending a message to the Glazers, the owners, hinting that they need to invest more?
It's a good question. He's known for getting results with limited resources, that's true.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the squad might be lacking in key areas precisely because of those financial limitations. It's a tough spot.
So we've got this fascinating situation, a manager known for his, demanding style, clearly a good tactician.
Right.
But he might be limited by the club's finances. It's a bit of a paradox.
Absolutely. And it begs the question, can he replicate what he did at Sporting under these circumstances? Can he build a winning team with potentially one hand tied behind his back?
To figure that out, we need to dig into this Manchester United squad, see what we're working with.
Yeah.
Let's start with some of the individual performances from that Rangers match. One player who obviously jumps out is Bruno Fernandes, the captain.
Oh, for sure.
He was everywhere, scoring the winning goal. And his post-match interview was really interesting, very mature, focused.
Absolutely.
He talked about consistency, saying one win doesn't solve everything. I think he's picking up on the same anxieties that the fans are feeling, setting the right tone. But then you've got other players who are a bit more of a question mark, like Alejandro Garnacho.
Yeah.
He's so talented, young winger, but he gets criticized for being too individualistic, not really a team player.
Yeah, but that plays for himself label can be tough to shake.
Yeah.
Especially at a club like United with all that pressure.
And it makes you wonder if he has the right mentality for a manager like Amorim who demands that everyone buys into the team vision.
For sure. And it also makes you wonder if they do end up selling him, is that because of his style of play?
Right.
Or because the club needs the money?
Yeah. This is where the financials and the on-field stuff get all tangled up. Amorim might have to make decisions that are good for the bank balance rather than what's best tactically.
Yeah.
It's a tough balancing act with big implications for their future. They're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, aren't they? Trying to build a team that can challenge for trophies, but also dealing with this financial mess.
Yeah, it is a tricky situation. And it makes you think maybe they brought in Amorim because of this. His reputation for getting the most out of limited resources.
It's like they've hired a Michelin star chef, but they've only given him leftovers and a couple of rusty pans to work with.
I like that analogy. And it brings us back to Garnacho. He's young, unproven, but clearly talented. If they can get a big fee for him, it might be too tempting to pass up, even if it means losing a potential star for the future.
It's that classic short-term versus long-term thinking, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Do you take the money now and try to fix the immediate problem? Or do you hope he develops into something special and maybe get even more money down the line? It's a gamble.
Big time. And all of this is happening under the microscope, right? Managing a club like Manchester United, every decision you make is scrutinized by millions of fans, the media,
It's intense. No wonder managers don't last long at these big clubs. The expectations are crazy.
You've got to win, and you've got to win now. There's no time for rebuilding or experimenting. One bad run of form and you're out.
So back to the question we started with. Can Amarim actually succeed at United?
It's tough to say. He's a great manager, no doubt, but this is a massive challenge.
Yeah.
Can he get this group of players who seem to be lacking confidence? Can he get them to believe in themselves again? Can he do it while dealing with these financial restrictions?
And can he handle the pressure? The media attention is relentless.
All good questions. And to answer them, we need to look beyond just the results, right? We need to analyze the tactics, the individual performances, how the team is evolving.
Okay, so going back to that Rangers match, one thing that struck me was that high press Amarim used in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
Seemed risky, especially with Rangers down to 10 men.
It was a bold move.
Oh.
But it worked, right? Forced Rangers into mistakes and ultimately led to the winning goal.
Exactly. Shows that he's not afraid to try something different, to move away from that traditional Manchester United style. He's adapting to the situation.
He has to. He can't just rely on some old formula. He needs to be flexible, make the most of the players he's got, find ways to outsmart the opposition, even when they're up against it.
It's like he's playing chess, isn't it? Every move has to be carefully thought out because it could have big consequences.
Absolutely. But it's not just about tactics, right? It's about getting the best out of his players, motivating them, building a team spirit. These are all individuals with different personalities, different strengths. He needs to mold them into a unit.
It's about leadership, basically.
Yeah.
Can he get these players to buy into his vision, even with all these problems swirling around them?
That's the million-dollar question. That's the difference between a good manager and a great one. It's that intangible, something that you can't really measure.
So lots of questions still to be answered. But that's what makes this whole situation so interesting. It's a story that's still unfolding, and we don't know how it's going to end.
Could be a glorious comeback, could be a total disaster.
We've looked at the context, we've broken down the tactics, the individual performances, but there's one more piece of the puzzle, isn't there?
The mental side of things. How are the players reacting to all of this? Are they embracing Amarim's methods, or are they starting to feel the pressure?
Let's look at some of the post-match reactions from the players themselves, but also from the pundits, the commentators who are watching this all unfold. There was this one comment, it really stuck with me. It was from one of the pundits, a former United player, actually. He said, Amarim's style, it's like a shock to the system for some of these players. Maybe they got a bit too comfortable under the previous managers.
Yeah, it's definitely a change of pace from what we've seen at Old Trafford recently. Amarim, he demands a lot, physically, mentally. He wants his players to be pushed, to be outside their comfort zone.
That can be tough, right? Especially if you're used to, things being a bit more relaxed.
Look at what he did at Sporting. He benched big-name players, brought in young guys who were hungry to prove themselves. The team always came first. No room for big egos.
And it worked. Everyone knew they had to fight for their place in the team.
Exactly. And we're seeing some of that at United already, I think. The high press, the willingness to take risks, that focus on winning the ball back quickly. That's all Amarim.
But it goes beyond just tactics. It's about belief, isn't it? That desire to win, something that maybe they've been missing.
And that's where the mental side comes in. Can Amarim convince these players that they can compete, that they can overcome the financial problems, the history, all of that?
It's a good question. Fernandes seems to be on board, leading by example.
Yeah. But then you have someone like Garnacho. He seems to be struggling. Is it a lack of maturity, tactical discipline? Or is he just a victim of the club's financial situation?
And what about the rest of the squad? Are they responding well to Amarim's methods? Or are they cracking under the pressure?
We'll have to wait and see. This is where Amarim's man management skills will really be tested. Can he get this group of players who seem to be pulling in different directions? Can he unite them, get them all working towards the same goal?
It's fascinating, isn't it? This whole Manchester United story, you've got a new manager, proven track record, but a squad with lots of potential, but also some big questions. And then there's the club itself, trying to deal with these financial problems. It's a recipe for, who knows what. Could be amazing, could be a disaster.
Exactly. And it all comes down to these things. Some of them you can see, some you can't.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the question we're left with is, can Ruben Amarim pull it off? Can he take Manchester United back to the top?
We've looked at the challenges, the tactics, the mental side of things. Now it's up to you to decide. Keep watching, keep analyzing, and see if you can figure out what's going to happen next.
because in football, you just never know.
Mm.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another one.